Welcome to the Good Neighbors Podcast. This is Shields, with your hosts, Brad Shields and Alex McKee.
Which is a big popular excavator. And then we've also got the Bobcat E-Series excavator, which now I believe we cover every E model.
Okay.
There's 3 versions within the E models that we currently have. One of them's pretty old. We just finished like the E60, the E55, that big group. So really excited about those. Coming up,
The Minotaur.
we have the Minotaur.
Yes.
So the new case skid steer, the Minotaur, this giant hell of a skid steer that we saw at the Utility Expo and at the Con Expo.
Do you know what a Minotaur is?
Isn't it a dinosaur? Of
No,
sorts?
it's a half bull, half man.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you know how it happened?
No. Oh, no.
Yeah, you know, the Greek gods and all that legends are just crazy. I'm a little surprised Case will go with the Minotaur because this is what they call a small bulldozer and a giant skid loader. That's what they have. But there was a Greek goddess that was given a gift of this white bull. And I don't know, revenge, I can't remember the whole story, whatever, but she had relations with the bull and gave birth to the Minotaur. So that's a really great thing. It's a hybrid bestiality kind of story that, we didn't make it up, so.
It's a cool name, I guess.
We'll just make the window for it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm, nobody can see me right now, but I was cringing, I think, that entire time, waiting for the end of that story.
Well, you didn't think I'd work bestiality into any talks, but there you go. Thanks to the Greek gods.
Thank you, Case.
Yes.
Thank you, Case. Well,
but the window's badass, let's be honest.
It is a big window.
Yep.
It's a complex window. We're doing a fitment on the north side of Indy in the next, I think, in a couple weeks. We've got a fitment going up. Rob and Dasher engineers are going to go up, fit it.
Do you still think Warsaw's the north side of Indianapolis?
No, I said up north.
Oh, I thought you said North Indianapolis.
No, up north.
Yeah.
It's up there. They're
It's
going to have a
all the way
long
up
day.
there.
They're going to have a very long day.
You were born 30 miles from Mishawaka, or from
they're going to
Warsaw.
meet in Mishawaka.
That's right. Oh, and I told them to go. That's right. They're going to go to the Evil Czech Brewery.
Yep.
Great lunch, great beer,
Yeah,
great atmosphere.
It'll be a long day for them, but it'll be really nice to officially beat the OEMs on getting the polycarbonate door out there. So that'll be great. Another one we're working on is the new Cat Mini wheel loader.
Yep.
The compact wheel loader. It's actually smaller than the minis. And we've got the front and the kick panels ready to go for that. And we're finishing up the rear ready to sell.
And the front and rear are fairly complex formed windows. They've got some nice form to them.
The rear has been a bit of a challenge. We're actually working with the end customer. They're sending us a go, no-go fixture for our half inch.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we're really happy with that. The customer very helpful. So if we're just kind of keep building off that, we just came back from the Utility Expo in Louisville. 2023. So you actually were sick. You missed our big meeting at work to follow that up. So let's recap that a little bit. It was a hell of a show.
It was a great show. I love, again, being in the Midwest, of course. It was a close show, but I love the focus on it. It started as just a lineman show years ago for electrical line workers and just grew to everything that goes with it, which becomes construction equipment, bucket trucks and everything else. So very good show for us, more exposure. The booth looked great.
It was our best booth.
And we had a great group working it, and the feedback was fantastic.
Yeah, I was happy with it. We were very busy. It was interesting because we had a lot of the foot traffic in general was way down.
Well, now I'll come back. I don't like where we were. I've never been overly happy with any place at any trade show because you always get like, oh, I want to be there. But I was disappointed.
We were in the safety.
Yeah, we are safety equipment, but we were next to harnesses and shit like that. And it's the wrong mentality. We need to be over with the equipment. We need to be with the trucks. We need to be with the attachments.
We need the association.
Yep.
Right.
So, but people still walk the show. I mean, you don't spend that much time and money and not walk a show.
It did. And it's funny because growing up working trade shows, as a middle school girl, I was nervous to just, hey, want some information on Windows, you know,
Right.
holler at the people in the aisles, interact with the people walking through. And I remember being like, as a little girl, being like, oh my gosh, like this is terrifying. But then the older I get, the more experienced I get. You know, we work the trade shows the way you want because of the effectiveness, the interaction. If we didn't grab people
Right.
and talk to them, they'd walk on by.
There's so many sales or so many connections that have never been made. And I'm dumbfounded when I walk through trade shows and I watch other booths and people are, you know, on the phone, they're not engaging, they're not even trying. And, you know, we engage 100%.
We hustle.
We hustle. And of course, hitting the cab helps. But I saw somebody showed me on Facebook, we put out pictures of trade shows through the years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a picture of me of about 12, I'd say, great hair. It was a blue suit. It's not my disco suit. It was a blue suit with white, with my white collars sticking out. And you talked about being nervous. I don't think I can ever remember being nervous. Excited, yes, but nervous, even at 9 years old at Bike Week. I don't think I've ever been nervous at a trade show.
I don't know if I've ever seen you nervous at a trade show, except
Anxious or
setup.
uptight, you know, because people.
There's
You know,
lots of stories just within setup.
well, setup, it's a special time.
Setups are a lot of emotion in setups.
Well,
a lot of
and
anxiety.
also, you know, for 24 years now, I've designed my booths.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, a lot of companies have a third party that designs their booth, that makes their booth. It's cookie cutter. It's got the same material signs. Like you walk around the trade show, you'll see very similar setups,
Right.
very similar things. There's a handful of companies that do it. We've never used any of them.
No.
Everything we do is made in-house, mostly. From welding to creating the crate out of wood that
I
disassembled.
did buy the trusses for this last show.
Yeah, and I think I think they are a great addition.
Oh, they're intelligent. You know, this is a smarter booth. The Con Expo 23 booth, though, I was looking at those pictures again. It's the greatest booth. It is the most complicated, the most sophisticated, the most layered, the most LEDs in the history of the world in a booth. I mean, I built it for over a year.
Yeah.
And it took us over 9 hours, 9 intense Las Vegas weather hours. We started just right about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we had a nice late dinner that night.
No, this one was great. It was a quick setup.
Yeah.
And even the quickest stare down. In 2 hours, we were down and out. And Teddy was able to sit in her stroller and watch us the entire time without fussing. So it was
much
a good
smarter.
day.
And I'm doing very little adjustments for the PRI show in December, the racing show. We're going to use the same stuff. We got to do it. We're a peninsula instead of an island, so it's got to be a little different. But it's the same. I'm going to keep the same one, even for even for Con Expo 26.
We're going for the island.
We're going to see. Well, we got that corner. I want an island.
I think island's smart, and we can work on our storage. Is the only
we'll
caveat that we've got. But overall, I think the show. It was more focused. It was dialed in.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't as much random stuff. It was good conversations. It was bigger companies. Those conversations. It was what we were looking for. Fleets. Our fleet program is in the works.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah. When you said focused, it was good and focused. And we gave away a lot of koozies and a lot of samples and a good number of keychains. We almost gave away 1,000 koozies, and the return on those have already come back. So unlike the PRI show, I'm not going to be so open to give out stuff. But as far as
presence there,
anybody in the construction world, if they have that koozie, at one point will buy or tell someone else to buy from us. It's a given.
No, I mean referral. When we're tracking our customer base and everything that goes in, referrals 50% if not higher, repeat or referral. On those two categories, which is great. But so during the trade show, the last thing I want to talk about the trade show is we did something that we've never done before. And I think that when I started, within 3 years, I never imagined, even thought of doing what we did when we were there.
And that was?
We filmed a commercial.
Oh, we did? Oh, my God. Yeah, we filmed a commercial.
In the middle of the trade show.
Yeah.
It was the craziest day I've had in a long time. I'll be honest. And emotional.
It was, yeah. It was very interesting. A little disappointed in the makeup crew. I thought I looked pale. No, I thought it went really well. I'm looking forward to seeing the footage and what they put together for it.
I am too. I basically gave her, we filmed a bunch of testimonials from customers that were there to vendors and suppliers. It was just a perfect opportunity. It was one of those like God moments. It was all set up from the time Jen reached out to me.
Yeah, it worked perfectly.
To the timing of I was like, okay, I'll meet with you. Not really sure I'm going to be sold on this. Not really sure we need it. But it came across the same time as you were talking about how our backyard doesn't know what we do.
Right.
And so that's where a lot of this commercial is going. And we're hoping to release it in November, roughly.
Okay.
The company got back with me saying that they have tons and tons of footage. We just have to pick which direction we want to go with. They're going to give us some options. I'm going to give them some creative approach there because we don't make commercials.
No, we don't. I think we may be a little short on some of my acting skills. I was watching some Geico commercials, and I think I do a lot better. I do better than the emu for sure.
That's a high bar to set.
No, that's Geico. Liberty. That's Liberty Bibbity.
You think you're going to beat the gecko?
The emo. The gecko's good because he's got that accent, right? It's fake. He's not Australian.
So you're going back to the emu.
I can whoop the emus.
You just want revenge because it bit you in the nose. I got bit
by an emu in the zoo. I got a picture of a emu as it bites my nose from the zoo.
I bet your sisters were just thrilled.
Yes,
that happened. I would probably high five the emu as well.
It was amazingly hysterical.
Did you know that they race emus?
Well, that's Swiss Family Robinson, but those are ostriches.
That was a great movie. That was
a great book.
Maybe it is
a movie. Oh my God, it's a book. It's not a movie.
I've never read the book. I've only seen the movie, but it's good. And I think maybe they raced ostriches.
They're ostriches.
We need a fact checker on
emus are small. That's like llamas and alpacas. Llamas are cool. Sorry, Kim. Alpacas not so cool. They're cute, but they're not cool. You mean it's like Fonzie or Ralph the Mouse?
If you're in it for the money, alpacas are the way to go, though.
Okay, there is no money in those animals. We tried it for a long time. Yes, there is money in it. Goes right out of my pocket, right into the animals.
Right to their mouth.
Yeah, Jeff Hager and I were going to make $1 million.
On llamas.
On llamas.
I think I was in, third grade when this started? I could have told you that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, not a bad idea. That you're not going to make money off of it.
No.
At least you didn't go with the burros or the donkeys.
True.
Okay. Well, squirrel moment. Very big squirrel moment, but that's okay. So earlier today, something else I wanted to bring up. We talked about community. We talked about what we're wanting to do with this podcast, with our commercial, with everything we're doing right now is just sharing
the commercials
us.
To sell windows. I'm not spending that much money to do a TV, to be watching Sports Center and to see Brad Shields on TV, not to sell windows.
The commercial is to sell us, which in return sells windows.
All right, I'll give you that.
But with that, you told me today that you were invited this week to speak at the high school.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Who were you speaking to? What would you guys speak about? Was it question and answer?
Well, I'd love it to be question and answer, but it's going to be hard. I spoke to all the freshmen and sophomores at the school.
At the high school.
Yeah, and last year, now the principal there, Jeff Bellcat, one of my buddies growing up, invited me last year to speak to the juniors and seniors.
Question. Was he part of the Fab Five or
no? Fearsome Five.
Fearsome Five.
Yes, he was one of the Fearsome Five gang members.
Okay.
That's a long time ago. Back we are the OGs. Actually, we're the OFs, the original Fearsomes. Anyway, last year Bellcat, and he does a great job as a principal. I love him. I love what he's doing. Doesn't quite communicate a lot with me. So
he's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah. So last year I had all junior seniors, about 700 kids, same time. And I thought he said he wants to talk about business and what we're doing here, just some stories about our business in Martinsville. So I prepared. I got my note cards. And as I get there, I'm like, this is odd. They're doing videos on 9/11 memorials. And I talked to one of the teachers there who I used to coach, Willie Spina. And I go, Willie, what's going on? He goes, this is our 9/11 remembrance because these kids weren't born then and we do all this. And he goes, and we got speakers today talking
those
about.
Kids weren't born.
Yeah, they weren't born then.
Oh my gosh.
But they're talking. They went to speakers to talk about 9/11 and
Yeah.
And I look at Bellcat across auditorium, and I'm like, oh, you something else. So I walk up, throw my note cards out, start talking. Well, it was an okay talk. This year, he said the same thing, but he goes, I just want you to talk about our community, Martinsville, as it pertains to, why you stay here, why your business stays here and stuff.
Okay, well, that's
With
great.
9/11, which was perfect. I talked about the flood in '08 was a big part. But the best part I did was I went ahead and did some of my grandpa jokes. And after about the third joke, I got the auditorium laughing.
It took you 3 jokes.
Okay, they're great kids, but they're not used to people with jokes.
Well, probably not
And-
used to
and
speakers
my
with
jokes are
grandpa
great,
jokes.
so it took a minute. But the ones I got them laughing, and I'd work them in as I was talking. The PA guy, the AV guy, when I said the last joke as I was leaving, he did the pa-doo-ch. And I should have just dropped the mic, but I tossed it to Bellcat and walked out. So it was pretty good. But I was, and just like everybody in this podcast, I really want you to let you know something. I like to, I talk about Gillespie's here, how great it is. I had a good meal the other night. So there's a new restaurant on the moon. And the food is great. There's just no atmosphere.
Wow, you are grandpa.
Yeah.
You
Well, that
are
got him.
grandpa. That got
that
him?
brought
That's
the
what
house
did
down.
it?
Yeah, I kind of stared some kids down
Martinsville.
until they got it.
Just
But yeah,
forcing laughs.
It was pretty good. I told them, I struggled in school. I only could remember 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why.
Oh, that's bad too.
But I told them about my first job.
You know what's sad is there may be someone that didn't catch that.
Yeah, they did.
one.
Well, some of them don't know why. But in my first job, I go on my first day of my first job, and the boss comes up to me and goes, I'm excited you're here. I'm like, I'm excited I'm here. He goes, I'm so excited. I want to make sure you have a great day. I said, cool. So I left and went and played golf.
They probably didn't catch that one either.
Yeah, that's what they got. But then while I was golfing, I looked up, and I noticed the golf ball kept getting bigger and bigger. I couldn't figure out why. Then it hit me.
Did they finally get that one?
Mm-hmm.
They got that one. Good. Okay. There's
Yep.
hope for the future.
So, yeah, anyway, I talked about, what this community did for us in 2008 with the flood without taking all of our time. We had that flood on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We were OEM for Caterpillar at the time. And on Wednesday, we made a parcel shipment. And that's after having 36 inches of water throughout the entire building. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we had so many family, friends, employees, employee families, players, coaches, players' families, that all I did was make sure we had food and drinks, and to make sure people were taking breaks. And other than Cuttriff, it wouldn't get off the power washer. It had a little leak in the hose. So hysterical. And I got a picture of it. He is soaked head to toe, but he probably stayed on that power washer for 7-8 straight hours. But yeah, you think about how devastating that flood was, and yet we made a shipment, meaning we were back into manufacturing by Monday evening. Partial. We weren't fully. There was a lot to do.
Yeah.
And then I took my non-OEM crew, and then we spent the next week and a half working other businesses, cleaning up the rest of Martinsville. I thought that's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
You pay your employees to go clean other people.
You do back you give back your dues. I remember glimpses of it. I remember squeegeeing like an inch of mud out of the coating room.
Just amazing.
And the papers, going through and blow drying all of the paperwork and just seeing a lot of history essentially gone and ruined.
And, I even pulled some stuff out today. I was showing you earlier that is still some papers that are stuck together that we had to keep.
Well, your trademark form.
Yep.
It is brown and hard and sticky.
And we still to this day will move something and we'll find flood dirt underneath a mold.
Which is crazy. And the worst part about all that whole thing is I remember sitting on 37, listening to the car alarms go off on the bed of Big Blue, the truck.
Yep.
And the car alarms in Ford dealership right next to us started going off. And we're looking at the plant just submerged in water. And I'm in 7th or 8th grade.
8th grade. Bo was doing driver's ed the day.
That's right. I was in 8th grade. It's Bo's birthday.
Yep.
And Gabby was with us. And we're sitting, of course, and we're sitting there in the truck. And, I'm terrified because, I understand at that point that our livelihoods within the company. But then I see people leaving their homes in a boat with a trash bag.
Yeah.
Leaving dogs behind, leaving all their belongings behind, and everything the entire perspective just shifted.
And
like,
that's what I told the kids.
I went home to a dry bed.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember right before that, a state trooper had me going over the back of his car. I was about to get cuffed.
Yes.
I was going to go in. I wanted to turn the power off, gas off.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to try to get computers. I wanted to do whatever I could. And, him telling me no didn't go well. And, you can shoot
Not
me.
a surprise.
And it was getting pretty aggressive. And to this day, he thinks he stopped me. And I have no disrespect for the trooper. That's not what stopped me. It was seeing that boat come out, the first one, with everybody had one trash bag with all their life in it. I'm like, well, I think I can settle down now a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it put things in perspective very quickly. And then we started to feel the weight of how devastating that flood was.
Yeah. Well, and it was, then the importance of, okay, we had employees who lost their homes. So
many.
Now, the motivation of if they've lost their home, they can't lose their job. We've got to get operating.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's critical. And again, this whole town, though, the folks at Sergeant Pepper's Chicken, I remember, they were just making chicken and slinging it out. And it was just a raised trash came through and just started picking everything up without even asking. And there was just a lot of the community showed its colors.
And it's been repeated. It always does. Now, the flood obviously is an extreme. But with the tornadoes and even just this last one that went through not too long ago, I told Robert, it's the first time I've ever been scared in a storm.
Yeah.
Ever. And our house, we heard the tornado, but our house was perfectly fine, but it was just because we have a daughter now.
Yeah.
I'm like, the whole game's changed. But even within 24 hours, the streets were clear, things were up. Now the church I know is still working on their steeple, but the community's still.
They're waiting on windows, right?
It's been 15 years, and it's that same mentality.
It is,
and that's the reason why any expansion we do is here and will stay here to support.
Absolutely.
What they've done,
without question.
Which I think is incredible, and that we could talk for a very long time. I remember during the commercial, Lindsay, our director of the commercial, got me crying, talking about the community and all of those things. And I mean, there's probably more intelligent moves that we could make that would take us outside of the community.
Yeah.
Business wise. So, we've just put a bigger challenge in front of ourselves to expand, but I think it's worth it.
It's way worth it. And there's some things to be better, but some things not. I look at, your brother runs a business inside the 465.
Barely, but yeah.
But it's inside.
It is
so
inside
he's got to meet all those numbers. And while he has probably 40 or 50 to 1 applicants that we do, he's got other parameters he's got to deal with that we don't have to deal with down here. So there's a give and take. I mean, he's got a much bigger pool to choose from, but the water's not nearly as
it's a hard
pure.
Analogy.
Well, we're Martinsville, we're city of mineral water.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll stop
I see
there.
you trying to work that one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's going to work quite yet.
Know.
You should mull that one through a little bit. There's something there.
I'll get it.
Well, so I was going to go in a direction. Of course, we went in a different direction than I thought we would, which is totally fine. Talking about our history, where we were, and all of, some of those challenges with like a challenge of our location, challenge of, our weather, challenge of all of those things. I don't know if I asked you this last time, but I want to know, are you where you thought we would be in 2023?
Oh, you mean back in 99?
I mean, any time you were looking, maybe 10 years ago, 2013, we were really into heavy equipment.
I don't know. I don't know if I didn't have a monetary goal. I didn't have my goal was, I want to be synonymous with heavy equipment replacement, non-breakable, high-functioning performance windows. My goal is that. I go back to football. Yeah, you said, well, your goal is to win a game. Well, if that's all it is, you got to, hopefully the other team's bus will wreck on the way there. Bingo, you win.
Yeah.
And again, your goal is to win, but you got to focus on how you win. And you win by first downs, and you win by getting off the field on defense. and you win by not losing and special teams. So if you focus on those three things, the scoreboard takes care of itself. And so if all we're to focus on is sales and numbers, we could get caught up in euphoria one day or the other.
We'd run really different.
Yeah, so I want the recognition, and I felt it for the first time at Con Expo in 23 this year, which was fantastic for me to feel the recognition that we're synonymous with premier windows, with windows that will help you make money, with windows that will keep you working, with windows that will keep you safe. That is what, and if that starts to become the trend, then that's more first downs, and then we're going to win the quarter, and next thing you know, we're getting ready for a regional championship, and 5-star, they all don't go to class, so they're academically ineligible anyway, so they didn't even have a team come sectionals.
So I'm seeing it, and that's a joke that I'm not sure many people are going to get, but it was pretty good.
Yes.
I'm seeing it in little ways, right? In educational ways. The questions that we got 3 years ago on the phone aren't there. The name is there.
Right.
We got prints from a third party or third company that we didn't know from Adam.
Right.
And their part was spec'd to our material and our super coat.
That's crazy. And that's
like there's part, like it was, which means that technically, if they're following the specs of the print, nobody in the world can make it but us.
right.
And I think that is so crazy and so cool. And smack dab right here, in Martinsville. And windows, people take windows for granted a lot of times.
Always.
It's just part of everything.
Always. Try taking pictures. I spend a lot of time trying to take photographs of my windows. And if my window's right, you can't take a picture. It's like the Invisible Man. I got a lot of good pictures of him.
Melissa has we have figured out how
you guys
in a good way.
Yeah.
But it's very hard.
I got to tell you a funny story. So we have a New Holland tractor from Alamo. They sent it up to us to fit. This is probably, I'm going to say 2004.
Okay.
And so we get the windows on it, and Dad and I want to take pictures of it.
Probably at 5,000.
No, it was a New Holland, so it'd have been a TL.
A TL series, TLA.
Yeah. So we get the windows on it, and it was parked where the laser is right now. That's where it was. That's all I could fit. So we get out there, and of course we have Terry driving it.
Okay.
And my dad's got his little camera. Remember Papaw's little camera he always had?
He always had he went through a lot of cameras, but yes.
I've got the 35 millimeter super duper Canon, which I'm not a photographer, so that wasn't any good. But we're trying to get the sunlight just right. And between he and I arguing about it, we literally had Terry start driving in circles in the front yard. And we're just taking pictures, hoping one's going to reflect just right. I bet you, and we're on film now. This isn't digital. This is film. I'm stopping, pulling out a roll, put another thing in film, indexing it, and we are taking pictures of him driving in circles, just trying to get the reflection just right. All said and done, May got a couple pictures, and then we've argued so much over how to use it in print and in ads.
Didn't he end up drawing them?
He drew them, and they look really good, the drawings. But
what's funny is I look, from my position, my seat, if I were to sit back and see, you and some other senior, say Papaw, I look back and say you, Papaw, and Terry. I've got 3 senior guys, and that's their jig. I'm sitting here going, this is the most expensive 2 hours.
Oh, no.
Ever.
Because it was probably 7:30, 8 o'clock at night by this point.
So it's the most expensive day.
And Terry got some Miller Lite for his efforts. That was about it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
funny. That was just couldn't get the right picture. You never can.
No, you can't. No, we've got the backdrops and then drawings, and you have to highlight some stuff, but it's windows. People take windows for granted, and I think our customer in the industry are really starting to recognize you can't take your window for granted.
You're right. Well, and as we educate, we don't sell. As we educate them, and we communicate and we demonstrate, they're seeing, like the guy with the fleet, he's got 75 windows. He's like, he almost apologized for just trying one. I said,
no, sample one. It's great.
You try one, you will order for all of them. I know you will. And he's a really good guy.
And we're confident enough, and I'm building that into the fleet program that I'm working on. But okay, so we're getting close on time. Before we kind of wrap it up, I have something I want to ask. I think it's something fun. every time we do one of these, I want to know and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be business. It could be anything. What is something that you have learned in the past month?
What have I learned?
What have you learned in the past month? Something fun.
I'll give you a little a quick grocery list. I've learned that if you don't have your teeth at 9 months as a baby, it's no problem. I had to look that up myself.
You didn't believe me?
No, you're a hippie.
Wow, I am the most research-oriented person you know.
So I definitely know that. I learned that people with electric cars seem to have a bug up their ass and then he bounced off their hood.
Okay. Ironically, my fun fact that I had, or my thing that I learned recently, goes with that, and it's kind of funny, and I'm not trying to stir any feathers on this, but the new $4 billion electric vehicle plant that's being built has to have its own coal-fueled power plant to run it. Yep. And there's a lot of debate and argument there, but I just think the irony is hilarious.
Well, that's like if I could get the government to buy in on this, like I was going to go over to any relief area we need and sell powdered water. Just add water, stir it up, and it's good to go. You kidding me? I know a lot of politicians would think we need to spend money on that because they're brilliant. They are. The reason they're politicians are smarter than everybody, and they're just harder workers. Anyway,
open up the politician door. We can have that conversation another day.
So what else have I learned? I've learned a lot of things this month. I've learned that Stryken, our new Colts head coach, is a real football coach. Oh, and it proves exactly how horrible Frank Reich really was.
Hope you don't have to eat those words, but that's good.
No, he's a real football coach. We don't win every game, but let me see. That's funny. I like that. So I know seriousness. What I learned that I can move a bunch of water off my building with a 6-inch pipe as much as I could with a 12-inch.
Oh, that's neat.
That was
and some money savings, probably.
Money saved, but a good lesson learned. I learned that some companies who tout all their quality control and all their fail safes and all their nonstops are completely full of shit, and they just put stuff on a truck and hope it gets through. Ooh. Actually, honey, I learned that a long time ago.
Shots fired.
You learned that this week.
Shots fired. Yeah, I had to. For the first time, I feel like I had to put a couple guys straight in their place a little bit.
You're not ready to use the language I use in those meetings yet?
I didn't have to, but it was an interesting conversation. We'll leave it at that. We had some material issues.
6 Sigma black belt, statistical quality control.
It's paper pushing. So the listeners, we had some quality issues past couple weeks.
We don't need to say who.
No, we're not. But we've dealt with it. It's going well. And actually, to kind of go with that, my real true what I learned this month is that, ironically, to what we're dealing with another company, is within our own company and with people, is that accountability in a job creates confidence.
Okay, yeah.
That's something I learned. I had a hard time getting, I think, people don't necessarily want that. I think people want accountability, and I put it in place.
But here's your next lesson on that. You can pay people to be responsible for what they do, but I don't think you can ever pay people to be truly accountable. That's a person that is motivated.
Absolutely. And I think we can dive down to that another time. So you've got a couple seconds left. I want you to drop your
the greatest thing, and I use it a lot in Louisville. I'm talking to guys, and they want to talk about race cars, and there's a lot of great race car things. But the greatest race car drivers I've ever had drive behind my window, Ricky Rudd. Mm-hmm. No matter how many times they win, they're losing money. But if you're sitting behind my window and a piece of heavy equipment, you're making money, you're staying on time, and you're going home safe every night.
I think that's nothing else left to say after that.
And you get a pretty damn cool shirt from me.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Next time. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the This is Shields podcast. To learn more about Shields and our commitment to windshields with performance-proven toughness, visit us at shieldswindshields.com. For any inquiries or to explore our range of products, give us a call at 1-800-554-7527. For quick assistance, you can also text us at 765-913-8121. Stop by our headquarters at 1000 Industrial Drive in Martinsville, Indiana, to experience firsthand the excellence we put into every product we make. For any further information or questions, feel free to send an email to info@shieldswindshields.com. We'd love to hear from you. Once again, thank you for tuning into this episode of the This is Shields podcast. Keep pushing the boundaries of performance and stay inspired.